Ask your next. And,
Thank you, Chairman.
And right now, it looks like Senator Mullen will succeed you, and then Senator Padilla, and then Senator Ricketts. Okay, thanks. Please proceed.
Mr. Volk, the law provides 49% for additional subsidization. Is that customarily treated as a cap?
Senator, the 49%, yeah, is the cap, I believe, and I know we've had some discussions with, is that enough?
Yeah. So assuming that it's a cap, what effect does it have on communities that don't have the ability to afford the match in terms of being able to access these IIJA funds?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're struggling with that in North Dakota with getting the lead funding out, where 49% subsidization, 51% would go on to the customer, and most of that lead is going to be in your older neighborhoods, your disadvantaged communities. So we're really struggling with getting that and finding a balance with the affordability.
Thanks. Ms. Powell, in Rhode Island, we are seeing a lot of damage to our water treatment infrastructure related to climate change. We have very, very powerful, unprecedented rain events that have flooded out, for instance, a major city of ours, Cranston's sewage treatment facility. And it's really unpleasant to be downstream when a sewage treatment facility floods out. Yeah. Narragansett has had to build a dike, a berm, around its oceanside sewage treatment facility. Warren, another town, is having to plan a very expensive move with intermediate protection of its water treatment facility. How well does the IIJ fund the need that communities are facing to deal with these unprecedented flooding events driven by climate change and our relentless pollution by the fossil fuel industry?
Thank you, Senator Whitehouse, for the question. We ourselves are dealing with the impacts of drought conditions. Earlier this week, we had a meeting to talk about moving to a drought watch. So it really is impacting every community, East Coast, West Coast, North, South. I think the structure is there in IIJA. The authorization is there. The appropriations need to be there.
What's missing. I agree. Thank you. And let me also ask you about microplastics. We're starting to see that turn up more and more in drinking water. We see it appear in mother's breast milk. We see it appear in the end result in a baby's diaper that's obviously gone through the infant. We see it falling in the rain in Colorado. And we don't really understand what the dangers are of microplastics when consumed by humans. The bill provides $10 billion for what it calls emerging contaminants. Is it true that microplastics are only one of several emerging contaminants? Would have to share that $10 billion if we were to be treated that way? And given the kind of upgrades that are necessary to deal with microplastics, is $10 billion a sufficient number?
The short answer, Senator, is no, it is not sufficient. We've focused a lot on PFAS. We think that the
which would be an emerging contaminant?
Which is an emerging contaminant, and our projections to deal with that in drinking water are upwards of $1 billion. We need to make sure that
When you say our projections, you mean your utility?
WSSC water, yes, sir. So we need to have regulatory certainty. We need to have a comprehensive roadmap to deal with emerging contaminants that are on the horizon holistically, so that we're making our investments in infrastructure upgrades make sense.
So I'd wrap up by suggesting that some flexibility around the 49% for communities that don't have a lot of resources, and additional funding for infrastructure that faces climate-related damage, flooding, drought, drying out conditions, whatever they are, and an expansion of the $10 billion, which now has to cover both PFAS and microplastics, in addition to whatever other emerging contaminants are out there, would all be helpful to you.
Yes, sir.
Is that a yes also? I saw your head nod, Mr. Volk.
Yep.
Yep, okay. And Ms. Beiser's also nodding. Thank you.